Who Dat Nation, hold on to your seats because we have a massive situation brewing in New Orleans. A shocking report just surfaced linking two of our offensive stars to potential moves before the trade deadline, and you are not going to believe who is on the list. Is the front office really looking to shake things up and part ways with a key veteran and a young quarterback? The implications for our season are huge, and I'm here to break down exactly what this means for the team. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below before we dive in. Spencer Rattler and Alvin Kamara are the two names dominating the headlines regarding the Saints' potential roster moves before the upcoming NFL trade deadline this November. According to ESPN, these offensive stars have been identified as players who could be moved as the organization looks to evaluate its path forward for the remainder of the 2026 season. For Spencer Rattler, this situation arises directly from his shift in status after losing his starting position to rookie Tyler Show last season. The acquisition of Zach Wilson earlier this offseason has further shifted the dynamics within the quarterback room, making Spencer Rattler a potential candidate for a trade if the team decides he is not part of their long-term plans. While his record as a starter, which includes 14 games and 13 losses, provides a specific baseline, his experience at the age of 25 is noted as a trait that other teams might value for developmental or backup roles. The possibility of moving him is now a subject of internal consideration for the Saints, as they weigh the value of recouping assets against his potential remaining development as an NFL quarterback. Meanwhile, the inclusion of veteran running back Alvin Kamara is equally significant. His presence on the trade list is tied to the fact that he is currently in the final year of his contract, a situation compounded by the team's significant offseason investment in Travis Etienne Jr. These developments place both players at the heart of the trade rumors, sparking conversations about the future composition of the roster. As fans of the Saints might say, who dat? This uncertainty regarding two key offensive players is currently the most significant narrative for the team's front office as the November deadline approaches quickly. The situation surrounding Spencer Rattler is primarily driven by the team's need to determine his long-term viability as a quarterback. By drafting or signing other options, the Saints have created a competitive environment where Spencer Rattler finds himself in a difficult spot. ESPN highlights that while the results on the field during his 14 starts were not ideal, the sheer fact that he has logged that much time as an NFL starter is a commodity for franchises seeking experienced depth. The organization is now in a position where they must decide if keeping him as a backup is more beneficial than testing the trade market to see if any team is willing to offer assets in exchange for his services. This is a direct consequence of the organizational shift to include Zach Wilson in the quarterback room, which naturally squeezes out those who are not viewed as the immediate answer under center. Spencer Rattler remains the focal point of this specific trade discussion because his transition from a starter to the potential odd man out represents a clear change in the team's offensive hierarchy. Why does this matter right now for the team? It matters because the decision to trade or retain him impacts the immediate depth of the position group and the overall allocation of roster spots. With the trade deadline approaching, the organization is forced to address whether Spencer Rattler can offer more value to the team as a backup for the remainder of the season, or if extracting draft capital now is the more prudent move. This decision is not just about the player's past performance, but about the strategic direction of the entire quarterback room as the team navigates the 2026 season and evaluates the reliability of their current roster depth across the board. Alvin Kamara occupies the other half of this trade narrative, representing a distinct set of circumstances compared to his teammate. As a veteran running back heading into the final year of his contract, his future with the organization has become a topic of speculation. The arrival of Travis Etienne Jr. during free agency was a massive move that shifted the landscape of the running back position, adding a high-profile player to a group that already featured Kendre Miller, Audric Estime, and Ty Chandler. This crowded room is a primary factor in why his name appears on trade lists. The math is simple. With the team having committed substantial financial resources to Travis Etienne Jr., the role for a veteran in the final year of a deal like Alvin Kamara becomes subject to reevaluation. ESPN notes, that his output in 2025 hit career lows, with 164 touches and 657 scrimmage yards, which further complicates the outlook on his usage. The contract, which has been amended multiple times, adds a layer of complexity regarding dead money, making any potential departure a significant financial event for the franchise. Despite the speculation, Alvin Kamara has publicly stated that there is no friction between him and the team. He has explicitly mentioned that there is no bad blood, signaling that he understands the nature of the business and is prepared for whatever decisions the front office ultimately makes. His approach underscores the reality that players at his stage in their careers recognize the potential for change. For the Saints, balancing the legacy of a veteran like Alvin Kamara with the need to utilize the new talent like Travis Etienne Jr. is a delicate process that will be finalized as the trade deadline draws nearer. The connection between the roster moves of these two players lies in how the organization is preparing for its future. Both Spencer Rattler and Alvin Kamara are currently being discussed because their roles have been impacted by recent acquisitions or contract timelines. For Spencer Rattler, the presence of Zach Wilson creates a roadmap where the team might move on to extract value for a player who is no longer the primary starter. For Alvin Kamara, the signing of Travis Etienne Jr. creates a scenario where the veteran might be viewed as an expendable piece in a room that is now heavily populated by younger or more expensive options. This dual narrative highlights the reality of the NFL, where personnel decisions are often dictated by the need to optimize the roster and manage the salary cap effectively. The team's front office is looking at a landscape where they have to decide if they are comfortable carrying these players or if the assets gained in a trade provide a better path forward. Why does this matter right now for the team? The impact is felt through the depth chart, as the team must balance the experience of veterans against the investment in new acquisitions. If the Saints decide to proceed with trades involving these two, it would signal a move to prioritize the new additions and potentially shift the identity of the offense. The immediate concern is ensuring that the team remains competitive while simultaneously making long-term decisions that could change the roster's makeup. Managing the departure or retention of high-profile players requires precision, especially when those players have significant histories with the franchise, as is the case with Alvin Kamara and his long tenure, or the developmental promise that Spencer Rattler carried when he was first drafted by the organization. The ultimate resolution of these potential trades rests entirely on the assessment of the front office as the deadline nears. For Spencer Rattler, the narrative remains centered on his utility as an experienced backup versus the benefit of trading him to a team in need of a quarterback with his specific history of starts. For Alvin Kamara, the conversation remains about how he fits into a room that has prioritized Travis Etienne Jr. and has depth with players like Kendre Miller, Audric Estime, and Ty Chandler. The team has not indicated a firm path, which keeps these two players at the center of the trade speculation. The situation is a clear example of how roster construction works in 2026, where even established stars can find themselves in transition. The team's reliance on the running back group, which includes both the veteran Alvin Kamara and the high-cost acquisition Travis Etienne Jr., is a key area of study for analysts. Similarly, the quarterback room has seen a massive influx of attention due to the presence of both Spencer Rattler and Zach Wilson. These developments provide a complete picture of the current state of the team's offensive personnel. While fans watch to see if these players will remain with the Saints, the front office is likely running the numbers on the dead money associated with Alvin Kamara's contract and the market value for a quarterback like Spencer Rattler. The final outcome will determine how the team looks for the remainder of the 2026 season and beyond. Whether these players are moved or stay in New Orleans, their status is the most defining story for the team as they approach the deadline. The decisions made regarding these two stars will serve as a definitive statement on the organization's current strategy and their outlook for the immediate future.